Hello guys, welcome to my channel Algorithm Mind. I'm Hassan. I teach programming and data science skills to people around the world. So in today's lecture, I'm going to teach you about how to handle date and time data type in Python. We will conduct a series of exercises in this tutorial so you can get acquainted with all the more or less the necessary tips and tricks to handle time and date data object in Python. So let's get started with the tutorial. The first thing we'll do, we'll import the module datetime in Python library. So we'll use import datetime, and after we have imported that module, we will use this function datetime.now and to get the current date and time on this laptop, and we will assign it to this variable current date time. So again, I will repeat that we have declared a variable current date time, and we are using the function datetime.now from the module datetime here to actually get the current time and date of this laptop, or currently in the environment I'm working right now. So once I have get that value, I would like to just basically display that value. And I'm also interested to know, okay, we know that in Python we have various kind of variables and data types like integers, floats, strings. Then let's see what is the data type of this datetime format. So when I run it, you can see that we have actually got the current time and the date of this laptop. As it's of now 2024 4th of April, and 12th is the day, and currently it's around about 5 past 51 am. So, and the main thing to look at is I actually want to know the current type of this variable, current date time, and you can see that it is a class of date time, time. Okay, so it's a class of date time. So you now know that this is like how you actually calculate the current date and time, but we are more interested in actually extracting some specific values out of this date time variable. For example, you are interested in extracting only the years of that variable, or you might be interested in evaluating the month or day or hours. Because for example, let's take you have a data type, a column that has a date, and it has years, it has month, it has day, and it also has hours. Now you want to actually group that data and do some statistical analysis, or based on okay, for example, taking for which month we have the highest sales. So you have the column of date and time, and you will extract the months out of it, and then you can actually perform all the statistical analysis, and it's quite easy to do it. You have already we have a declared variable current date time that has actually a date type data, and we will use the dot notation here, like current date time dot year to extract the year. We will use the dot notation with month and dot day dot hours and dot minutes to actually extract the years, months, date, hours, and minutes from this variable. And once we have extracted that, we will assign it to the variables year, month, day, hour, and minutes. So we will use a simple print function and actually calculate and print all those values which we already extracted. And you can see that we have year is equal to 2024, the month is April, the day is 2012, the hour is 5, and the minutes are 51. So that's how you actually extract values out of date time data type. Okay, now you know actually how to actually get the current date time and how to extract specific values out of your data type in Python. Now let's move on and do some other operations. Okay, for example, let's say you have two range of data, like dates, something like starting at the beginning of a month or beginning of a specific month and ending at the beginning of a specific month. And now you want to calculate the number of dates that has that interval. So it's quite easy to do. First of all, we will create some date, and for that purpose we will use this function datetime.date here, and then we pass the years, the month, and also the days. and this will convert it into a date type object. And we have like declared another date in the same format with the variable date2. And after we have done that, we have declared two dates. Now we will simply do the subtraction. It's nothing like a hard science there. The code is quite simple. You define the dates, or for example, you have dates already in Excel file, you imported the dates, and then you calculate the difference. And finally you will use print command here, like, and we will pass the value here, date difference, and you can see that it has actually calculated the difference between these two dates. So that's how you actually calculate those difference. Okay, so most of the time you are also interested in converting the date into a string type format. For example, you have a class name here, date time data type, a class of date time, and you want to convert it into the class of string. So how you can actually do that? It's quite simple. As you recall that current date time here is actually contains our current date, and then we are using the function strf time. And when after like we are using the function, we are passing the input arguments, the format in which we want the string the date to be converted. I mean, we are converting this class date time into string type, but now we are also passing and telling this function we want our date and time to be exactly in that format. So we will define here the format here in which we want the string values, where we have like years, and then we have percentage month, and then we have percentage d. In the same way, we have percentage hours, month, and percentage s. For example, if you don't want to, just you are only interested in displaying the years, month, and date, so you can actually just cancel that, and you will have only the date in those specific three values, years, month, and date. So now after we have converted that, I will just print the value. Then I will also like to check the type of this formatted date. So now you can see that this is actually a string variable, as we have used this function here, strf time, to convert this class date time into string variable. So you know how to actually convert those date type into string variables. Let's move on and discuss another thing, like we have for example, if this is a scenario where, and it's quite actually a helpful scenario. For example, you have imported the data from an Excel file, and the date time that has been imported is actually a string values instead of class date time. So what will you do in that scenario? In that scenario, we will use this line of code here that will actually help us to convert that string variable into class date time. And it's quite easy to do it. First of all, we call the same module date time, then we will call the function datetime.strp time, and then we will pass two input arguments to this function here. The first one is the string value, that is the string string value of date, the date which is written in string. And then we will pass the format, in what format this date type has been defined. So you can see that we have years, we have like months, and we have date, and we have defined it the same. We have actually tell this function that this string value is defined in this data type format. So once we do that, what we will do, it will simply convert the string class into a date time class. And if you see that, like after I have calculated its value and also checked its type of data, you see that it's a date time class. So that's how you actually convert a string into a date time. So now you know how to convert a date type class into string, and also how to convert string into date type class. And finally, let's say you are interested in, like, you have a project which scheduling a project which involves calculating our days ahead, or maybe like involves calculating the number of days ahead. So in this context, how you can actually do all the calculations. For example, you want to actually add this much amount of days and calculate the new date. In that thing, we will first create a delta. A delta is just a frame of time. It could be like a minute, it could be an hour, it could be a day, or it could even be a month. So in order to create a delta, delta the change in here in this context, we will use the same function here, datetime module. Then we'll call the function time delta here, and then we pass the input argument that our delta, and the change we want is actually a day of only 1 day change. So this is how we created a delta, and it's been stored in 1 day. After we have created a delta, what we will do, we will actually do the simple basic arithmetic operations like addition and subtractions. For in our case, we have a current date that is 12th of April 2024, and when we added delta, that is the delta of 1 day, then the resultant date will be 2024 4th of April and 13th. So this is how you actually perform some basic operations with datetime class in Python. That's it for now, and if you have any other like questions related to this tutorial, feel free to ask me in the comment section below. That's it for now. I will join you soon with another interesting tutorial in Python soon.